Hey, Rich.
Hey, Michael.
And welcome, everybody, to BitPunch Radio, episode 051. Rich, we got a lot to talk about tonight. San Diego Comic-Con has happened. I've seen a lot of mixed opinions about some of the stuff that's been releasing from that.
Yeah,
I want to talk about that. Looks like you went on a vacation. I want to hear all about that.
I did.
Looks like you have finished Mistborn, at least the first trilogy, so I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are there. I have some shows I want to talk about. And I have started the new Xbox game As Dusk Falls. Been playing through some Final Fantasy Remake. Got some new board games to talk about. Some new comics I'm starting. So let's get into this. Talk to me about your vacation. How'd that go?
Pretty well. Pretty well. Went to Gulf Shores, Alabama,
Okay.
which is kind of along the same roughly the same strip of land as like Orange Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Go a little farther east from that, you get into like
Panama.
Presidio
Oh,
Beach,
right.
Florida. Destin's a little farther east from there. My first time ever being at the Gulf. Never been to the Gulf before.
Mm.
Always went to the Atlantic, or the Atlantic side.
It's a lot more
of the
calmer
United
seas.
States. Yes, can confirm.
Yeah.
Much calmer seas, much warmer seas.
Okay.
In my experience, the Atlantic is usually, even in the middle of August, cold as fuck somehow.
Oh, wow.
And the Gulf was like as close to bathwater as I think you can get.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice. Kids enjoyed themselves, which is kind of the number one goal. The beaches were nice. It wasn't super busy. It was pretty. From what people tell me, the Gulf Shores, Orange Beach is a little less touristy than like the Destin area, so it's not quite as like busy, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's still a shit ton of people there.
Right.
But yeah, the beaches were nice. We stayed in a really nice little beach house right across the street from the beach. So that was pretty good. Pretty good weather.
Mm-hmm.
No crazy weather, no rainouts or anything like that.
Any restaurants that stuck out?
Man, we went to on like the Thursday, like our second to last day there. We went to just like a burger joint. We were like, we just want to get some burgers because we're going to go to this like carnival thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like Yelped this random ass burger place. And like, oh, this is like kind of like near strip mall. This will be like a thing. It's like a local place, not a chain. And when we get up this place and we go in there, and it is like dive bar as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And like to the point where like pretty sure like the waiters and waitresses are either going through rehab
Oh, yeah.
or are like in the process of rehab.
They're like snorting gator and stuff, like in the back.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rough establishment.
Sure.
And here I am, my white ass, walking in there with
Mm-hmm.
my 7-year-old and my 4-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, and there was other kids in there, but it was a little sketch. So we get in there, but man, the fucking food was amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's always those little hole in the walls, because we were there last June, and the places, like we went to the Lulu Buffets or whatever, which was the big touristy place, but it was the hole in the wall seafood place that didn't have air conditioning. That just stuck out. I was like, man, that was the best food. That was definitely the best like fried food I had there.
Yeah,
felt like shit, but
really good. Oh yeah, it was terrible for you. Yeah, it was, but it was great. I got this crazy burger that had like a burger, and then it had like pulled pork on it, and like bacon, and like barbecue sauce and mayonnaise.
I love now where they're just like dumping mac and cheese on a hamburger, just just put it all together, Yeah. It's like when I was a kid, we'd go to like the lake or something, and I would have a bologna sandwich and a bag of chips, and I would just stick all them chips on the sandwich. It's just like, it's those people grew up, and now they're just like,
Yep.
just put all your plate on this burger. Who cares?
Yep. Now they're chefs. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ate a lot of good food. I don't think we ate any bad food, thankfully. But yeah, it was pretty nice. We went on a dolphin cruise. The kids loved
Yeah,
that.
we did that.
That was like a pretty impressive production. I don't know what yours was. Ours was these two boats get
Yep.
like side by side,
Yep.
and then like they create this wake.
Yep.
And then the dolphins like jump in the wake. I know that's a really kind of hard to describe for the audio audience, but it was a pretty impressive like maneuvering of pretty big ass boats.
Yes.
With a lot of people on them. So that was really cool. Kids loved that. Let's see. The house we rented had a pool, so that was clutch.
Oh yeah.
With a big umbrella that went over it, so it was like a shaded pool. That was pretty nice because it's just hot, just all the time down there. Yeah.
So are you a beach guy, or are you I'm gonna lay here under an umbrella and read?
Both. So
Okay.
yeah. So like my kid, like my 7-year-old can kind of like the ocean there was pretty calm. Like, so she
Yes.
was playing and stuff. But like my 4-year-old is like still really short. She's a small little thing. So we still kind of had to help her in and out of the ocean, and so
Sure.
once they were kind of done with the ocean, like, we're just gonna like throw sand in our pants for an hour, like we're doing sandcastles and shit. I'm like, all right, daddy's gonna sit down and fucking read about Dalinar and Kaladin here.
Yes. You're learning their names. Good.
Yeah, so I did that for, while my wife, kind of did what she was doing, and my in-laws did whatever they wanted to. So I drank Corona Lights and read about fucking Stormlight.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, it was a good vacation.
Good.
I would definitely go back there. I do have to say, I'm sorry if you live in Alabama. Your state is the absolute worst state to drive through on the face of the planet.
Now I will say
it had to have taken us like 8 hours.
Yes.
To get north to south across fucking Alabama, and it was the worst drive. It's I-65.
Yeah.
And it's like stop and go traffic for nothing. There's never like a cop. There's never like a crash. It's just like, oh, we all just stopped.
Right.
Now we're all going to go again. And then we're all going to stop again in 5 miles. And then we're all going to go again.
I swear it's like Kentucky is like an hour and a half. Tennessee's an hour and a half. You hit Alabama and it's like 8 hours.
Yep.
Yeah, and I understand like driving through Indiana sucks. Like
not even close.
No, it's not. Like Alabama is just.
No, we came up I-6 like coming back. It just took us forever. It took us way longer to get down there just because of traffic getting down there. But even leaving on a Saturday, man, it took forever to get to Tennessee. And then it's like you get to Tennessee and you're like, all right. And then it's like
Nashville.
Fuck, there's Nashville. All right, hey, there's Dave Ramsey, that asshole.
Yeah.
All right. And then it's like, holy shit, we're in Louisville.
Right.
And it's hell, it's only like 150 miles to Indy. Shit. And then you're like, oh fuck, we're in Indy. We're basically home. Like, this is awesome.
How far is it for you? Because it's a
13 and a half hours.
Gosh, yeah. See, it's 9.5 hours from where I'm at to get there.
I drove that in one shot coming back. We left at 9 a.m. Alabama time, which is 10 a.m. Eastern, and we got home at 12:30 in the morning.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah. But you know what? Like once you see Louisville,
yeah.
And we're just right across the river from Louisville, but it's like once you see that, it's just like nothing's stopping me at this point.
Yep. No, that's what I told my wife. I said if we make it to Louisville and I'm not done, I'm just gonna stop at a gas station and get a bunch of fucking coffees, and we're just going. Like, I'm not sleeping in a hotel in Indianapolis. Like,
no,
we're going all the way. So, yeah, Alabama sucks. The drive sucks. If we could just sell like everything from Gulf Shores north of Alabama, like back to France, that'd be great. Just like bullet train across there somehow.
All right.
Get rid of Tuscaloosa. Sorry, Adam Condra.
Yeah, there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is a bummer. But
And that's
I'm
the other thing. Yeah, there's nothing.
I'm sure like driving out west, like going through Nebraska and stuff is pretty awful too. But
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
yeah, I know. And especially because we've taken that drive through Alabama like several times. And it's just the dread. As soon as you see it, like "Welcome to Alabama," you're just like,
Yeah.
"Fuck."
And it starts off so cool because you hit Huntsville first, and there's fucking spaceships everywhere, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Fuck yeah, America!" But after you go past those spaceships, it's just the worst
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
thing ever.
Like every stop is like, "We've got a Sunoco here."
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
really? That's all you got? Like, no, I'm not pissing in this bathroom
yeah.
because I have no idea who's gonna be in there. It's just no, nope. No, I've seen scary movies. I know what happens in the fucking backwoods of Alabama.
Yeah, yeah,
Norco kind of, primed me
yeah.
for. I know that's Louisiana, but it's close enough.
It is close enough. Yeah, yeah, not that far. Yeah, I was kind of surprised when I was like looking at a map, seeing how close we were to New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, good vacation.
Good.
But I did a lot of reading.
I want to hear
Read a
about
lot
it.
of books. Listened to a lot of books on my way down in the car.
What you
I
listen
fin-
to?
so I had a little bit of Mistborn to finish. So I finished Mistborn, The Hero of Ages, which is the third book in the what Sanderson calls the Era One
Mm-hmm.
trilogy. So the original Mistborn trilogy. So I finished that trilogy on the way down. Uh, man, that I will say that third book really is kind of the, at least for me, kind of the end all being all of like resolutions. Like a lot of books, they books kind of create problems and create questions, throughout a
Mm-hmm.
trilogy, especially when they're a trilogy or a big series. And a lot of times they have trouble kind of landing all those answers or solving all those problems. And this book just really does just check marks down every little thing and kind of puts a nice little bow on it.
Wow. Okay.
Um, and yeah, in typical Sanderson fashion, like the last 2 hours of that book is just pure fucking chaos. Um, yeah, and it's
So is your family listening to this at all?
no. I have it
Okay.
on like I listen through like bone conducting like
Oh,
headphones, so
sure.
my
Right.
ears are still open, so I can hear everybody.
Right.
But I'm kind of still listening to it. Um, I've been trying to decide like where I'm ranking this trilogy, like
Yeah.
in the other series that I've read. It's way, way, way up there. It's
Oh,
it's a
wow.
it's a really, really good series. I really like it a lot. Um, the characters are really good. The story is it's really good. That there's some things that happen in that second book that are a little slow and a little weird. Um, but it's part of the Cosmere, and so now I'm into this Cosmere thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting. So I went and I finished, this third Mistborn book, and I went right into the Way of Kings, and I'm already kind of connecting some dots of like some
Mm.
things that have happened or like things that are going on,
Okay.
um, and kind of wondering what the parallels are there between the two books since they take place in the same sort of universe, if you
Sure.
will. Um, but man, yeah, Mistborn is really good. If you like fantasy at all, and you're a Sanderson, you like Sanderson's other books, you should definitely give Mistborn a try. Especially that first book is a great book. Even if you don't read any more of the series, the other two, even that first trilogy, you could read that first book and be done.
Oh, wow.
It leaves enough open for the second book and the third book, but it does wrap some things up.
Mm.
Um, and you could totally walk away from it at that point, but you won't because you'll
Right.
want to know what's going to happen
Right.
next.
Sure.
But it doesn't end on a total cliffhanger, that first book. And by then he's got you introduced to like the magic system and how it works and all that. It's just really good. I really like the characters in it. Vin, the main character,
Mm.
she's a really good character. And it's not, a lot of bad stuff happens in it, but it's not like Game of Thrones like adult.
Right.
I've not read one of his books that's maybe that far like into the adult, like a lot of sex and a lot of
He
raping
doesn't.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, he doesn't
It
really
doesn't
do
seem
that.
like he really goes down that
No.
path a lot. So it is an adult book for sure. I mean, people get pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
But, there's not a lot of that stuff happening. So I really like that trilogy. It ends really, really well. The Era 2 trilogy, the Wax and Wayne trilogy, that's next in the Mistborn sort of books, I think it takes place 300 years later. I think it's some large amount of time later, kind of in that Mistborn universe.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably read those at some point, I think, just to kind of see what ends up happening, especially with how the first trilogy wraps up. Yeah, I really liked this.
I've always been curious about him because if you look at the covers for like the first trilogy, it's very fantasy. I think it's like you just see a lot of fantasy elements. And then if you look at like the Wax and Wayne, they look like fucking detectives from like our era,
Yeah, and those covers might be a little misleading, honestly.
Okay.
It does have this kind of it's not steampunk because there's not like steam power, but it's got that kind of vibe to it. It's hard for me to explain. It's not Stormlight. It's not that. Not that at all. But it is there is magic, but it's a weird like kind of like a steampunk era kind of magic
Right.
stuff. I don't know. It's not steampunk though cuz there's no steam and it's not that kind of
Right.
art style, I guess, but it's a little darker and a little
Grungy.
grungy. Yeah, maybe a little more grungy than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty that first book is a pretty shitty world. Like there's not a lot of great things going on.
Yeah.
In Scadrial or Luthadel, the big city in Mistborn. Not a place you'd want to be. But yeah, you should definitely give that first book a try at some point. It's a pretty short book. I think it's like 500 pages long.
Yeah.
The first book. They do get longer as you go. I think the third book's like 600 or 700 pages.
Yeah, I got a decent little list before I get to it, but I will get to it because I bought. We bought the Kickstarter, and I know there's a book that's set in that universe. So before I consume that, I need to get through at least. Well, I should probably research like where it takes place, but I won't want to read it until I get up to that point. So
yeah, and so I finished up Mistborn, went right into Way of Kings, and realized the guy that narrates Mistborn is also the guy that narrates The Way of Kings.
Oh, okay.
So
Michael Kramer, is that his name?
Can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah,
I hadn't looked him up until I started.
I think it's
The Way of Kings.
Yeah, I think it's Michael Kramer.
But yeah, he's the same person that does Mistborn.
Oh, okay, great. That guy's awesome.
And all three of them. So
I could be wrong, but I think he did the Wheel of Time.
He did.
Okay.
He also did the Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
And his wife is the person that does the female voices in The Way of Kings.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they were married.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I looked this up the other day because, like, I started listening to The Way of Kings and I was like, "Is this the same guy? This is the same guy." I mean, I've been listening to this guy for 3 books. This is the same guy. And I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he's like, he's listening to The Wheel of Time right now, and he's like, I think it's the same guy that does Wheel of Time. I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
There's no way this guy read all of Mistborn, then had to sit down and read all of Stormlight.
Oh, yeah.
And also sat down and read all of Wheel of Time. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And then we looked it up, and yeah, it's him.
Man, he's got a hell of a voice on him.
Oh, it's
those
really
pipes are gorgeous,
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because I'm already noticing in Way of Kings, some of the voices he's using for characters in the Way of Kings are the same voices he used for characters in Mistborn.
Yeah.
And so he's like he was talking as somebody in the Way of Kings, and I was like, oh shit, is that Demu? Fuck, that's Demu. Like it's the same voice. Like, oh wait,
And
no,
it's like Adolin or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, it's somebody else. Yeah. But so that was a nice little thing to find out as
Yeah,
I
cool.
started listening to the Way of Kings. Yeah, that guy's super good. So yeah, I finished up Mistborn, went right into Way of Kings. Holy shit. That book is rough in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
let me tell you.
Oh boy. Yep.
That whole first chapter is just like a bunch of weird people and weird names,
Yeah.
and then places that have names that sound like the people's names.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like that chapter's over, and then it goes chapter 2, 4,500 years later. And I was like,
Okay.
okay,
Can I?
okay. And then I'm like, I had to like I like read and listened to that first chapter 2 or 3 times,
Right.
because I could not keep it straight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I gotta get like, I'm a person, I've got to get like into the book and like establish who the characters are in my head, like in my imagination. That way, when I'm reading it, I'm kind of in their headspace, if you will, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like when it went to chapter 2 and it's like 4,500, I was just like really deflated. I was like, God damn it! Like, I'm sure whatever I just read is like a really big thing that happened.
Sure. Right.
That I'm being told about, ahead of time, and that all the characters are gonna find out, as I read this giant book. But I'm about 30% in to the book now. I think I'm on chapter 19. I've got the hardback here.
Yeah.
Mr. Jeff Bezos brought to me the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm chapter 19 into the book now, page like 300 something of 1,000. So I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm in it now.
Okay.
I know who the characters are.
All right.
So far, we've got Shallan, we've got Dalinar, we got Adolin, we got Renarin, we got Kaladin. I wish they'd all didn't end like in An.
Yeah.
Or N. Yeah, it does keep it hard to keep straight.
So the first book, who do they keep going back to? It's Kaladin, right?
It's bouncing back and forth between like Dalinar and Adolin, and like that group, Kaladin, and then Shallan.
But there's chapters that go back in time.
Interludes. There are interludes with there's a guy that assassinates somebody in the beginning.
Zeth's son Villano. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that guy. It's going back to that guy.
Okay.
Kaladin has some flashbacks. Like
so the first book is the flashbacks are Kaladin.
Yes.
The second book, the flashbacks are, I won't spoil it, but it's kind of a thing where it's introducing that. So
yeah, it's kind of introducing Kaladin's childhood.
In the prelude, I've told you this before, so I don't mind saying it again. But that first chapter is the same first chapter of every book. You just see it.
Right.
You just see it from different perspectives.
That's right.
Which is cool.
That's right. You did tell me that. Okay, I forgot about that. But yeah, I'm starting to get into the story now.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dalinar is like having these weird seizures during the storms.
Yep.
I just read the chapter where I'm experiencing that, or like reading about him experiencing one where he's fighting these crazy fucking black misty things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of figuring out now that Kaladin, he's on this bridge crew. A lot of shit happened to Kaladin.
I had to look up what that even means. Like a bridge runner. I had to look up because you're at the Shattered Plains. Yeah. And imagine it's like there's these massive chasms around. Right. Think of if you a way I imagine is like your palm, it's got all the different cracks. Like those cracks are good distances to the next.
Right.
So I had to look and see artists' interpretation of what a bridge runner is carrying, because I couldn't imagine what this bridge looks like. It doesn't make sense. Like, how do you get it across?
Yeah, I had a little trouble with it too.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some illustrations in the hardback
Okay.
that
See, yeah.
has like some of that stuff. Like it shows like a map of the Shattered Plains, and it shows like the bridge crews, and I'm like, oh, I'm like starting to
Oh,
understand like the whole
okay.
point of the bridge crews, and then they do kind of explain the bridge crews a little bit later on. But I'm starting to understand now that like Kaladin is on this bridge crew, and he's like, part of the army basically for Dalinar and Elhokar and Sadius.
Yep.
Um, so they're all kind of real close together.
Yep.
They otherwise would be like Star Wars characters or something.
Sure. Yeah.
You should just call them like Obi-Wan and
Yep.
Sidious, and I don't know. But yeah, I'm into it. It's got some interesting stuff. Like only the female characters seem to be able to read. The men don't read. Um, that seems kind of weird. There's these crazy shard blades and shard armor, and then Dalinar is his shard blade is called Oathbringer.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh well, I know the third book or whatever is called
Yeah.
Oathbringer, so that's a thing that makes sense.
Yep.
I did, full disclosure, when I got back home and I was about like 15 chapters in, I did watch a YouTube video that was like, here's an explainer of all this shit,
Oh, okay.
from Stormlight, no spoilers. And so it kind of explained shard blades and like how many of them there are, and like on a map, like it had a map of Roshar, and it's like here's
Wow, I
here's
want
who
to
all these
watch
people
that.
are. It was very good. It very
Yeah.
much helped me kind of get all that shit straight in my head. So that guy, I don't remember who the YouTube channel was, but he did a good job of putting that together. Like explained like some of the creatures too, which was helpful.
Yeah, the chasm fiends and the things that they're going for, and
Yeah, they fought one of them fucking things and cut its legs off, and yeah, that was pretty crazy.
The way that he explains fighting is so cool. Just
it is.
Yeah.
There's some really crazy battles in Mistborn, because of the way the magic system works. That is like literally hard to understand because of how that magic system works. But he does do a really good job. So yeah, I'm enjoying the Way of Kings. I'm like I said, I'm 300 some odd pages in, and there's a lot of talking in that book so far. I'm hoping it gets a little more. It's starting to get a little more kind of pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah, I think the back half of that book like really starts running. Book 2, dude, it is just a straight shot to the end. It is so interesting and it's wild. And then book 3 is really slow.
What's book 2? Words of Radiance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That was it's my favorite so far.
Okay.
Yeah, book 2 it's phenomenal, man.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, I gave Way of Kings 5 stars because it's just like, yes, the beginning was rough. I probably forgot a lot of it, but man, that back half is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you just really get to know these characters, so.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt with Mistborn. Like you go through 3 books with, a pretty substantial set of characters, and you're just like, man, this starts. Yeah.
Yeah, something happens and you feel it, man. You feel it.
Yeah. He does the old Sando fucking twisteroo on you.
Yep.
And you're like, what? Yeah, he's like, oh, hey, remember that thing in the first chapter of the first book that you didn't think was a big deal? Yeah, that's a really big deal now.
Yeah, here we go.
Make that a big deal now. Here's this thing that you didn't even understand back then. You're just like, what the hell? Yeah, he did that in Mistborn a lot. So yeah, I'm into it. I'm like fully committed to this whole Cosmere thing now. I should have bought every one of those fucking swag boxes from that goddamn Kickstarter. Yeah.
Which one did you get again? Did you get the books?
I got the books and the audio, so I got like all formats. It was like $200.
Sure.
But now I'm wishing I would have got them fucking swag boxes because there's Mistborn shit in there, there's Skyward shit in there, and there's Stormlight shit in there, and I'm gonna want them, and they're gonna be on eBay for like $400. A fucking box.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna suck. And now he's selling leatherback leather-bound editions of the books. Like Way of Kings leather-bound edition is going to be on sale like in August. He keeps bringing them out. Mistborn's in his store right now. I can get a Mistborn leather-bound for $100.
God.
And they're really nice.
Yeah.
But I already have them. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, it's rough. It's
I
like
don't
a
have
Steam
room
Deck.
in my little house, man. Like I keep buying
You
board
gotta-
games, and the shelf
gotta
is
get a shelf.
overflowing. Dude,
No,
the shelf is overflowing. There's no room. There's shit on the floor because we don't have room for it in this house.
gotta get 2 shelves, man. I almost need a second bookshelf already.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a lot of books. I like the books.
Yeah, and we're gonna
Alright.
be at Gen Con collecting shit. Telling you, man.
Yeah. 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 I'm gonna have to get a game shelf, 3 shelves. Yeah.
You got room in that basement. You'll be all right.
Oh yeah, I got plenty of room in this basement. Yeah. Only one wife though, so that'll be fine. Games, I have not played much of any games. I played a little bit of Tiny Tina when I got back. But for the most part, it's been all books. I want to try to find some comics to read. Here to kind of break up the Way of Kings a little bit. That's
Yeah.
gonna be a pretty big thing to chew on here for a little while. So we'll see. I haven't made any decisions about that yet. So all right, I've been talking long enough about Sanderson. You can regale me.
I finished Tiny
doing
Tina.
since you finished Tiny Tina. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yep. I think I was level 34, 35 maybe, and finished that sucker up. So
Does that hold up the whole way through?
yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Good time.
All right.
And if you want to co-op, I'd gladly join. Like that game is fun. They don't do a new game plus. So you can't really take your character and like re-roll. But it does kind of drop you back into the world, and you can, go finish up some stuff that you maybe didn't do, which I did not do everything. I'm sure if I did, I would have hit level 40, but I'm hearing the DLC is not really great. So I don't know how much more I'll play with it outside of playing with you.
Okay.
But so yeah, did finish up Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I'm on chapter 14 of Final Fantasy VII Remake. There are 18 chapters, so I would say by the time we record the next episode, I should be done with that one. Outside of that, I have played some Fortnite with my kids.
Okay.
That game is...
There's a Mistborn character in Fortnite, I think.
So there is. Well, I don't think it was ever it was talked about, but I'm not sure they ever announced it or released
Really?
it.
Okay.
Because I think we talked about it when I was like, I think Sanderson's joining Fortnite. That's pretty cool. But I don't remember it actually coming out. With his Kickstarter though, maybe there'll be talks at some point. But we started As Dusk Falls, which is I guess it's the only game this year so far that Xbox has released.
Okay.
And it is think of like Norco or whatever, where you are... No, okay, I take that back. It's not really like Norco. You're watching a story unfold, and you are making decisions like a choose your own adventure.
Okay.
The art style is really, really weird. It's stills, almost like a motion excuse me, almost like a motion graphic comic where the background is kind of a still, the characters will move a little bit.
Okay.
But the cool thing it does is the voting mechanic, the fact that you can play it on your mobile, and the fact that what happens when you're done with a segment of the story. So right off the bat, I was playing it on Xbox a Series S. And right off the bat, it was just like, hey, do you want to use your controller or do you want to connect to your phone? And I was like, well, I'll try with the controller for a second, and absolutely hated it. Because it's, you're moving a cursor around. At the speed at which that cursor moves, I was just like, nope. So I go grab my phone, I download the companion app, and then it connects in a way where you're kind of controlling the cursor so it moves a little faster.
Right.
So it's just like a story of this couple. They are moving to um out east somewhere. They're from California, and he got a job, and they're just on their way, and they kind of run into some trouble. And just some shit starts happening to them that's like pretty crazy. They run into some people that are trying to rob them at this little hotel that they're staying at. So I only played the first segment of this game, and it was interesting. It seems like it would be like a budget TV show. Like if you take the actual choose your own adventure mechanics out of it and to watch it, it would be boring. Like, but the fact that you kind of have control over the story, that part's pretty interesting. I will say I had issues using my phone where it would be like, it's kind of timing you to be like, you almost like a button prompt. You need to swipe at this certain point, and it just wouldn't quite do it, and it would cause like the bad thing to happen. And that was a little frustrating, but I was just kind of running with it. And then at the end of like that little segment, what happened, it's like, okay, here's your decision tree. And it's this, think of like a flow chart, and it's this massive flow chart of all of these decisions that's happened, all their branching paths. And then it tells you the percentage of players that chose this path. So then you can see like, well, this bad path, like 18%,
cool.
18% of people chose this path. The other 82% have chose this path or whatever.
Right.
And you can see where it all concludes to like 2 or 3, different endings, but there's so many different ways to get there. I thought that was pretty interesting. So I played it with my wife, and we haven't touched it in about 5 days. So I'm just like, well, I don't know if we'll get back to it. Like, it was cool, but I don't know if it was cool enough that's gonna like keep our interest. But there were outlets that were giving it 9s.
Okay.
So I was like, well, maybe this will be good. But another cool thing is, if you play with like a large group of people, there is like a voting mechanic where you can vote on the decision. And then it's like a majority rule. But
okay.
Then the thing is you have like trump cards. So like if there was 5 people playing and 4 people chose one, and I'm like, no, I really want this option, I can play my trump card and it will go with that option. But everyone has a certain amount of trump cards, so you can start stacking them. Like, no, we're going with this decision. And I'm like, no, fuck you, I'm going with my decision. And if no one votes against it at that point, then it would go with my decision, even though 80% of people, chose the other one. Right. It seems really interesting. I may or may not pick it back up. If Ashley is not really interested, maybe it's something we could stream. I'm sure there's a ton of people streaming it, but it was just okay. I think Norco had a more interesting, like, it was just weird, and like there was robots and shit in it, and like this backwater Louisiana town. Yep. I think that held a lot more interest to me than this. Ditchman, yeah, and just the robot Millennium, was that his name? Millennial or yeah, something like that. Anyway, so that was As Dusk Falls. I'm not playing anything else. So once I wrap up Final Fantasy VII, I'm kind of like wondering.
Yeah, I kind of came back from vacation and opened up Steam and like, all right, what's the hot thing right now? What did I miss in a week? And that cat game came out.
Yeah, Stray.
Cat game, which not that surprising. Bunch of gaming nerds like the cat game.
Sure.
Okay. Not to say it's not a good game. And then there was one other one that looked like a not Farmville. Animal Crossing knockoff.
Yeah,
that people are really into.
I'm gonna butcher. Is it like Dinkum?
Dinkum, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think so.
Yeah,
that was the other one that I saw, and I was like, oh, yep, everything's fine. Yep.
Yeah.
Cat game and a Farmville knockoff.
Yeah, we're fine.
Animal Crossing knockoff. Yeah.
I will say there's one coming out on Switch that I'm interested in. It's called Bear and Breakfast.
Bear and Breakfast.
And it is, you'll have to watch a trailer for that. It is like a kind of a Stardew Valley like game, except you're running like a bed and breakfast, but you're a bear.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems real. I don't know. The trailer of it looks pretty cool, but it is kind of one of those games.
Huh.
I kind of want to check out that Live Alive game, which is that Super Nintendo game that got re-released. That's never been in. It's like a JRPG, but it's never been here in the States. They redid it and it came out on Switch.
Okay.
I do want to check that out. May wait for a sale on that one. That one's $50. But yeah, so I bought the League of Legends RPG. I think you kind of sold me on that one last year.
I did.
I think maybe it wasn't you. Somebody did. Kind of showed that there was a League of Legends game when I started watching the show.
Okay.
And so I bought that on Xbox because it was on sale. And I haven't gotten into it because I don't want to play 2 RPGs. So I think once
What's
I finish
that
up Ruin King.
I don't know what that is.
Okay, maybe it wasn't you. But so yeah, I'll probably play Ruin King. I showed my wife Bear and Breakfast, so that might be something we play together. I was thinking As Dusk Falls might be the thing. You know, that Halo Infinite beta is out. Maybe we could kind of take a look at that. I know we're gonna play Resident Evil 2, but I'm just trying to think like what do I want to play? Like what's my next Steam game I'm gonna play?
Right.
And I don't quite know yet. I think that Dinkum could be fun because it is co-op. But yeah, I don't know. I need to do a little bit more digging. I've never played a Saints Row.
Okay.
So I might pick that one up. That may have co-op. Maybe.
Usually they do.
Okay.
Usually they do.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to check on that. You know, I did re-download Dying Light 2 and played it for about 15 minutes and then just uninstalled it again. I was like, no, I can't do it. Like as soon as Aiden started bitching about something, I was like, I really wanted to like you, but it's just not it. And then I fired up Elden Ring for about an hour.
Oh, okay.
And kept trying to fight the fire giant and I couldn't even get his health halfway down.
Oh.
So I'm just like, okay, well, I want to take probably a super long break from you. So that's it, gaming. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's my next big thing.
Okay.
Not a ton coming out this year. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll finally bite the bullet and get that Call of Duty game. I need to see like how much that is, but okay. Rich, my kids and I, now this is probably another one of those I shouldn't have done this, but we did anyway. We watched Arcane.
Whose butt did you get to see?
There were some intimate moments. Didn't see a butt. Did see some side boob. But
wait, Arcane? That's animated, right?
Yes.
Yes, my animated side boob.
Yes.
Okay.
You absolutely have to watch Arcane. That might be one of the best seasons of like a cartoon anime. It's not even anime, whatever style that is.
Did you already watch
I watched 3 episodes of it.
Okay.
And then something like life happened. I don't know what happened, but I was just like, this seems really good, but I don't have time for you right now. I'll come back to you. And it's always been on like my pick back up on Netflix, you know?
Okay.
That show is just quite amazing. The characters, their whole arc that they go through, it is Game of Thrones level murder and shit what happens in this. Like, you get introduced to a lot of characters, and at the end of that show, there's not many left. It was spectacular. And my kids ate it up. My daughter, She like, I'm not watching that. So then my son and I watched the first episode. She kind of comes into the next episode and is watching it, and then I catch her the next morning. She goes back and watches the first episode. She's like, okay, I got to check this out. It's wild.
That's got like a pretty high production value, right?
It does, and it's sitting at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, because I heard that, like through rumor mills or through the internet somewhere, that like that season of that show was so expensive to make.
Oh, yeah,
Like they may not make another one. Like the only reason they made it was basically for marketing for League of Legends. Like,
wow.
if it wasn't attached to League of Legends, there's no way. Like it was some like
you should
ridiculous
just
amount of money.
You should watch it. Like it looks more like, think of the amount of money that it probably took to make like Into the Spider-Verse, like that style. But this is even, it's not more stylized, because I think that's more comic booky, where this is a little more, it's not anime, it's its own style. Like I've never seen a show look like this before, but it's like 8 hours of that.
Yeah, Google tells me that those 9 episodes took 6 years to make.
That doesn't surprise me.
And $100 million.
It's phenomenal.
Okay,
I
will
put
it on the list.
It is.
I don't have much to watch right now.
It is something else, man. Yeah, the it does take a little bit. It starts throwing a lot at you at first, but oh, I hear it.
Oh, you heard something?
Yeah, I heard something.
Yeah, I'm moving around on the internet. So
yes, fantastic show. We are watching the Rehearsal. I don't have a whole lot to say about that, except it's just this bizarre HBO show. Nathan Fielder, I think's his name. He had a show on Comedy Central called Nathan For You. Never watched it, but I've heard some different podcasts. People talk about the Rehearsal, so I'm giving it a shot. And it's bizarre. It is this guy, he finds these people that want to rehearse something in their life, and he goes through like painstaking details to help them. And it's a funny show. Because it's just the amount of production that goes into this stuff is really the humor of it, but it was just ridiculous. And it's enough that like I want to go back and watch his other shows. A lot of people talk pretty favorably of him. So then the last thing is trying to get my son to watch an anime. He has friends that watch Naruto. I've never seen Naruto. I'm telling him like, hey, we should watch Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was pretty fun when I was a kid. And so I get on Hulu, just thinking, maybe it's on there, or Netflix. Netflix has a ton of anime on there, and then couldn't find it. So they did have Dragon Ball, which is like the OG, but it's all in sub. So we'd have to read it. And my son, who's a reader, was just like, I can't really do that. But then he sees Dragon Ball Super.
Okay.
And I'm like, you can't do that, Max. You can't watch Super. You're missing 250 episodes of what a Saiyan is, who Krillin is. You don't know these characters. He's just like, I don't care. Let's just watch this. So then he's really into it. I think we're like 4 or 5 episodes into Dragon Ball Z Super.
Okay.
It's on Hulu. It's the only one. And it's okay. I mean, that's what we're doing in the mornings before school, is watching an episode of Dragon Ball Z Super, getting him all amped up before breakfast. So what else here? I did finish Paper Girls. I'm still reading In the Shadow of Lightning. And I'll burn through it, and then as soon as Hunger of the Gods is available, that'll be my next book I pick up.
Yeah.
I am reading a comic right now called Berserk, which is a comic / manga. It's like one of the most popular ones.
Okay.
That this is a 100% like TikTok made me read it thing, where I've seen enough TikToks of it where people are just talking very favorably, and I believe like the guy he may have had some health issues and stopped writing it for a while. Now he's picking back up on it. So I was like, well, I'll check it out, and it's just very much yes, like a samurai anime story, but
Okay.
it's highly graphic. And that's probably why people really picked up on it. It seems generic right now, but um, I think there's going to be something to it. Like I'm definitely interested to keep going, but um, nothing like groundbreaking right now.
Okay.
So that stuff must be coming. I put tabletop on here. I've been playing through the ages and this wine making game called Viticulture. I don't really know how much I want to get into that, because I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about tabletop in our next episode when we return from Gen Con. So that is really it for me. Do you have anything else?
I don't think so. No.
Let's talk about San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay.
I've got a whole production here of notes. And I don't know. I could say we could just run down this. And then if there's something interesting you want to talk about, we can call it out.
Did you watch any of it?
I've watched all these trailers. Somebody put a 35-minute video on YouTube with just all the trailers back to back.
Okay.
They just went one right after the other. And so we all just sat and watched it. Like the whole family did.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I watched like the unveiling, like when he put the little timeline up.
okay.
When the Marvel Man came out and he put the timeline up.
Kevin Feige, yeah.
Yeah, sure. He's Marvel Man.
Yeah.
I kind of watched that where he's like, "All right, Phase 5, bam," and then he's like, "And then here's Phase 6," and everybody lost their apps. Like the whole crowd loses their minds. And I'm looking at like the dates, and it's like 2025, and I'm like, "That's not a time that exists."
I know,
like,
right?
Have you picked up a newspaper, dude?
Right.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why is any of this on this screen?
I don't know. Like,
what are you talking about?
very ambitious fella that Kevin Feige is.
I mean, he's gotta be, right? I mean, I get it. I mean, but still, it was kind of like, eh, there was like 20 movies on those 2 PowerPoint presentations. There need to be 20.
Right.
Could there just been 10? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I took away from it. I was like, man, they're doubling down, and like fucking the Star Wars people are just like, fuck yeah, we're gonna get into this phase of shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You just wait. They're already doing that to
Yeah.
some extent.
Yeah, they already have their big timeline, so
Yeah. But okay. Yeah, go ahead.
okay. So Phase 4 is almost done. It's going to end this year, and the last thing we have is She-Hulk and Wakanda Forever.
Okay, tell why. I don't know anything about She-Hulk other than they released a trailer like a few months ago, and I felt like people went like the original Sonic trailer on it. It was like, hey guys, this looks real bad. The Sonic, the She-Hulk looks bad. I'd never watched it. That's what I saw. The reaction was, did they like go back and fix it? Did they? Is it going to come out and be really good, like Sonic was?
So the thing is this show's not even out yet. It comes out in like a couple weeks. They're already apologizing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. That it's not going to look the best. They had to CGI most of her as She-Hulk. So her name is Tatiana, I think. And when she's Tatiana, she's just herself. But when she morphs into She-Hulk, which it seems like she's spending a lot of time as She-Hulk, it's a CGI.
Isn't Mark Ruffalo CGI too?
Yeah.
For most of it?
Yeah.
He looked fine in
He did look fine.
Movies.
And I think people are having issues with that too.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's probably where some of the argument is happening. The thing I'm interested in the most about She-Hulk, I do not watch all of the Disney Plus shows. We fell off Moon Knight. We only made it through a couple episodes of Miss Marvel. I was enjoying Miss Marvel, actually, but the family was just like, nah. So I don't watch a whole lot of TV if there's not a family member watching it with me, because if I have free time, I'm playing a video game. That's kind of how I am. But Daredevil is in She-Hulk.
Okay.
That's why I'm interested in it. I want to watch it for fucking Daredevil, which is stupid, but whatever. And then Wakanda Forever. Sure, that movie will be great. It's not enough to get me in the theaters, especially knowing that they show up on Disney Plus like a couple months later. I'm okay to wait. Ant-Man will definitely be one I'll go see. So Ant-Man kicks off Phase 5. It's supposed to really set up everything. I was thinking Spider-Man last year was going to do that, but I just felt like we've just been kind of floating in this, like, what's really Phase 4. I understand everything's like the multiverse right now, but if everything feels really directionless, and I'm thinking Ant-Man is going to be like here we go, here's the direction, because Kang is the big bad villain, and he's going to have a big presence in Ant-Man.
Okay.
Secret Invasion is... Did you watch Captain Marvel?
Yes.
Okay. So you know the Skrulls.
Yes.
And you know that Samuel L. Jackson at the end of that movie is just like chilling with the Skrulls.
Yep.
Okay. This show is about that. Like, they're doing shit together. Colby Smulders, I don't know her name in the show, but she's in it, and there'll be a bunch of people in that show. They're just going on an adventure, I'm sure.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is March 5th. They will retire after this movie.
Okay.
So they'll be done. That should introduce a character, if you know of Adam Warlock.
Nope.
Okay. He is essentially like a Superman, which you could say that about a lot of characters in Marvel. He's like another one.
Okay.
Can I spoil a comic? He was like one of the main characters that fought against Thanos.
Okay.
But it was actually Drax the Destroyer that took out Thanos.
Oh.
Yeah. Huh. So, Echo is a Disney Plus show coming in 2023. I actually don't remember what that one's about.
I was gonna say, I don't know, like Echo the Dolphin. I don't.
We can assume. Yeah, I'm sure Disney has the rights to that somehow.
Yeah, somewhere.
Then Loki's getting a second season in summer 2023. Blade is coming out November 3rd, and then Ironheart is getting a Disney Plus show fall 2023.
What's that?
I don't know what Ironheart is. I watched they didn't have a trailer for it. Guess it's a character.
Huh.
Yeah, it looks like there is some stuff that leaked about it.
They've got like a Marvel comic book character like Rolodex, and like they just like flip that thing and then put their finger on it, and they're like, all right, here we go.
All right, Moon Knight, you're up.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so continuing Phase 5, we have Agatha, Coven of Chaos, which I think I've seen that might be the least wanted show out of all of them.
Who is she?
So she was in WandaVision.
Oh, okay.
She is like one of the witches that's in that show. And Agatha is played by an awesome actress. Disney Plus. My gosh, I think
I know who you're.
I'm blanking on her name. Yes, her.
Talking about. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, she's awesome. Kathryn Hahn. Yes, Kathryn Hahn is great. Okay. Then Daredevil is getting his own show. Disney Plus, spring 2024. Out of the gate, 18 episodes.
Whoa.
Which normally they do 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. 18 episodes. and Kingpin's in it. I've seen the guy get shot
Oh,
so many
yeah.
times.
What's his name?
Vincent,
Dorfino.
yeah, Vincent
Dorfino.
D'Onofrio, I think is how you say it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Good.
yeah, great.
Is the Punisher going to be in it? I want the Punisher. I want more of that guy.
It wouldn't surprise me.
They need to reboot that.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they bring in some other of that. What is it? What are they called? Gosh, the freaking that whole quadro of people.
No.
Iron Fist and
Nope.
okay.
Oh no.
Captain America: New World Order, new Captain America movie. I've actually really liked all those Captain America movies. Don't know if I'm sold on the Falcon being Captain America, but we'll see. I thought that show was pretty weak. And then Thunderbolts, July 25th, 2024. That'll be a fun as hell movie.
What's that?
Imagine Suicide Squad for the Marvel universe.
So is this the Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
I'm sure she will have a huge part in it, but it is
getting all the anti-heroes together.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That makes sense.
Yep. So that is Phase 5. Then Phase.
So that is from. So that's just to clarify here.
Yeah.
That's from February 17th, 2023, which is forever away.
Right.
And all the way through to July, to this time in July of 2024.
Right. So that is
2 years from now, Phase 5 ends, basically.
That's 11 items. And that's not even including the I Am Groot show. There's a Spider-Man show coming out. There is a Guardians of the Galaxy a holiday special that's coming out that people are excited about. That's none of that. This was just kind of what they showed on their big screen.
Okay.
So then Phase 6. The thing that people got hyped about of Phase 6 is that there are 2 Avengers movies that got announced. Phase 6 is kicking off. We don't know yet what's actually kicking off Phase 6. I'm sure it'll be a Disney Plus show. But Fantastic Four finally got announced. Okay. And then they're doing Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, which is Kang the Conqueror from Loki. So we'll see a lot more of him.
Okay.
And then
the bad guy in Loki that was in the tower?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a huge character. The guy that goes through the multiverses and stuff. Yeah. Very, very big character. And then All Out Avengers Secret War, November 7th of 2025. And I don't even think that's the end of the Phase 6. This was just...
So they're going to release 2 Avengers movies 6 months apart?
Right.
Printing that money.
You know, I'll be there.
Does the calendar in your phone even go to 2025 at this point?
It goes to...
It can't. It'd have to it Y2K, your phone will just light on fire.
Right.
If you go that far ahead. Yeah. It can't compute that.
I wonder if somebody has a .ics file with all these that you could just download.
Oh, absolutely. I can find that right now in 5 seconds. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so outside of all that Marvel vomit that happened, there's a couple other things I wanted to talk about. That Dungeons and Dragons trailer, dude, that movie looks fun.
Okay.
It's Chris Pine, which I'm not the biggest Chris Pine fan. He's just whatever.
He's all right.
He's all right. Yeah. But that movie just looks ridiculous. It's got the fucking mimics in it, you know, the treasure chests that fucking come to life and attack you. Right. It just looks ridiculous. There'll be a gelatinous cube in there somewhere.
Okay.
It just looked really fun, just a really fun movie. Did you watch the House of the Dragon trailer?
No, no. I've seen some like screenshots of like different characters,
Hmm.
but I don't know who they are. So
I don't either. But
this is like a prequel, right?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm interested.
Okay.
That trailer looked cool.
Okay.
And if it's good Game of Thrones shit, I'm all for it.
Is that HBO obviously
Yes.
still?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm sure it's George R. R. Martin like helping with production, not writing his book.
Not writing his book. Yeah.
So, yeah, House of the Dragon looked good. Dungeons and Dragons looked good. Sandman, I don't know about that one. That looked rough.
So I watched the trailer.
Okay.
Okay. You messaged me and you're like, man, that trailer looked like crap. And I hadn't watched it yet.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it. I didn't think it looked that bad. It didn't really show a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
There is some scenes of a diner.
Yeah,
and
the
you can
blood.
see the Corinthian.
Yep.
A little bit. I just need it to be really weird, and I need to
Right.
if I don't end every episode of that show feeling very uncomfortable about what I just watched,
Yeah.
like to the point where it's like that was borderline disturbing,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not doing its job, right? Because that's how I felt after I read the comics. Like, whoa, like
Mm-hmm.
the things that happened on this comic book are fucked up and
Right.
very weird, and Neil Gaiman needs help.
Yep.
So as long as it's that, then I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't think it looked terrible. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. I think I'm gonna go back and reread like that first volume.
I think it was the
Woods and
best.
Nocturnes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was really good. That second one was really good too.
Mm-hmm.
Dollhouse was pretty good too.
We
I
got
don't know how much this encompasses, but
right.
we got into like the third or fourth volume, I think.
I think we read 3. I think I checked out 4 a couple times. I never read it.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know how much this encompasses this first season, but I'll watch it. I'll give it a shot.
I'm not sure if it was a Comic-Con thing, but they announced season 3 of Wheel of Time has already been greenlit.
Okay.
Season 2 is not even out yet.
Right.
And they greenlit season 1, season 2 in like 2 movies or something.
Man.
I wanted, man.
Did you finish that?
No.
You know, man, that 7th episode is actually pretty good.
But listen to that sentence, Rich.
Man, that 8th episode is just some trashy ass like Xena Warrior Princess fucking shit.
Oh, that's rough.
It's really bad. I got a guy at work that loves the Wheel of Time, and he's like going back and like rereading them. And every time I go past his office, I'm like, "You still reading those shitty books based on that shitty TV show?" And he's just like, "Fucking shut up! I hate you so much." I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You should read them." I'm like, "Nah, man, the TV show sucked. I'm not reading those books."
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know that you should. God, you should really watch that last episode. I convinced him to do it, and he was like,
the last episode.
Terrible.
Just watch that one.
No, you gotta watch 7 because it's actually pretty good.
Okay.
And then you gotta watch episode 8 because it kind of builds you up, and then it just pulls it right out from under you. It's the dumbest shit in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. What
I wonder how true to the book it is. I might have to.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
He told me it's like not even close. Like they changed quite a bit of it. Yeah.
You think Sanderson would be okay with that?
He did like a watch party of that 8th episode and was like, he didn't shit all over it, but at the same time, he wasn't like, oh, this is really, really, really good. He did say he thought they did, an okay job with what they decided to do. But I think if he'd had his way, it probably wouldn't have ended up the way that it did.
Right.
I would guess, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, like even listening to him as he's been talking a lot lately about he's definitely doing something movie or TV related right
Right.
now with somebody. And I don't know what series it is, but he's been talking about Mistborn a little bit actually, and somebody asked him like what like it seems like he's going to have quite a bit of creative control over whatever he decides to do. And somebody asked him about like Mistborn, and he was like, "Yeah, like the third book in Mistborn, the one I just finished reading." He's like, "I would change like 60% of that story."
Wow.
Like going back and looking at it now, like there's this thing that happens with this character that's off to the side. He's like, I shouldn't. Like even today, I look back at that and like I shouldn't have done so much of that. Like I should have brought some of these characters back together. And there's other cool shit I've now figured out that I could have done that would have been better than what I did, or at least I think that now, you know. And he wishes that like in the like the little crew, he wishes that he would have had more female characters now because he feels like he's better at writing female characters now than he was then. Because Mistborn was like his first big trilogy, so
He
it
does
seems
pretty.
like
He does pretty good with the female characters in
yeah. So he seems like he's
Stormlight.
like open to like adapting them. Like he's not going to come in to like Netflix and be like, all right, fuckers, here's the Way of Kings. Start reading.
Right.
We're going fucking beat for beat, right? So like he seems very open to like adapting the books to what would work for a TV show or a movie.
And I always go back and forth on that because it's like I would love to see that book in like a cartoon or something, but then I would just feel like, but I know what's happening. The wow factor is not there. So yeah, I always go back and forth on like I'm just such a hypocrite, you know.
Well, see, like I feel like I had friends. I didn't read Lord of the Rings before those movies came out. I think I had read a little bit of The Hobbit, but not all three of the books. And I had friends that were like fucking way into Lord of the Rings, and they fucking hated those movies
Really?
because of all the stuff they cut out. Like there were parts of it they liked, but there was so much that those movies cut out, and they're just like they fucking shit all over those things. But everybody else loved those movies,
Right.
right? And
Well, I
that
mean,
kind of
like if you read The
kinda
Two
differentiated it.
Towers, you know, that
Yeah.
final battle at the end of that book is like an hour long, but if you read the book, it's like 8 pages of it. It's not
Right.
it's not that
Yeah.
big a deal in the book as much as it is
Right.
in the movie. So
Yeah.
it was a cool fucking fight though.
Yeah. But that's hilarious that they've already renewed Wheel of Time. It's probably because of the actors, I'm sure. They're just trying to like lock up those actors.
Oh yeah.
Lock up the sets and all the money they've spent on all the costumes and sets and stuff.
Right. Maybe it'll be good.
I don't know.
But it's like it's not like I mean they have the money to do it, and it's not like people are like, "Yo, this Wheel of Time sucked. I'm canceling Amazon Prime." Like that's just
like
not.
what else is on Amazon Prime that people like that's like unique?
There's some shows my wife watches. I liked Miss Maisel.
I like Jack Ryan, John Krasinski.
I did watch the first season of that and thought it was good.
Yeah. That's not too bad.
I mean, they're gonna have Lord of the Rings
That's true.
very soon.
That's true.
I will say that second trailer got me a little more hyped than that first trailer.
Okay.
The first trailer was rough, man. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got video game releases on here, but really outside of Bear and Breakfast and Xenoblade Chronicles, which neither of us are Xenoblade Chronicles fans. I think the only thing that I didn't put on here was Saints Row, because that comes out the Friday that our next episode releases. So,
okay.
and that's really it for big releases. Oh, one other thing I wanted to talk about. Have you looked at the Netflix games?
No.
At all?
I don't know anything about it.
So they have, if you log into Netflix on your phone and you kind of just scroll through, there's a section where they're like, hey, we've got like games now.
Okay.
And I was just looking through them, and there's some good stuff on there. Like, there's legit good games on there.
It's like part of your subscription.
Yep. You just have to
Oh.
have a Netflix subscription, and then you can download these games like Game Pass style and log in with your Netflix, and then you just have them.
So it's not Stadia, it's not streaming?
No,
Oh.
no. So, my daughter, I keep Downwell on my phone because anytime she reaches from my phone, she's playing Downwell. I probably have 30 collective hours of Downwell, and I've not played a single bit of it. Like, my daughter just eats that game. She loves it.
Yeah.
So the creator of Downwell made a game called Point B, which Point B is essentially Downwell, but in reverse. You are jumping, you're jumping up. Yes. And there's like this monster that's kind of chasing you. So we played that. That seems fun. Looking through, fucking, Moonlighters on there. You can download that with your Netflix and just have it on your phone. If I haven't already played through that game twice, I probably would do that.
When are they gonna make that Moonlighter 2?
When they gonna make that fucking right?
I don't know.
You know, I've never played the DLC. It's I need to probably play through that again and get that DLC. But Into the Breach, which was a really popular 2018, 2019 maybe, kind of puzzle game. It is on there with the new DLC, and it's all for free if you have a Netflix account.
From the makers of FTL.
Yes. Which FTL is hard as shit, and I guess Into the Breach is too. Excuse me, but I was listening to Nextlander, and Alex was talking about how they brought on an easy mode. So I might actually try it because I'm not. I just feel like I would hit a brick wall with those. I do with a lot of those, like Advance Wars. I got about halfway through Advance Wars, and it's just like this is just getting a little too challenging. But an easy mode that might kind of introduce it a little bit easier to me. So yeah, good stuff on there. Anything else?
No, think I'm done.
All right. Good. Well, thank you all so much for watching, listening, and streaming. You can check out our other episodes of BitPunch Radio at our website at bitpunch.tech, and then you can email us at emails@bitpunch.tech. You can follow us on Twitch and Twitter at BitPunch. You can check out our archive streams at our YouTube channel at /user/BitPunch. And check out our newsletter at bitpunch.substack.com. All of these links can be found on our website at bitpunch.tech. And again, thank you all so much for listening tonight. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
We will be back in a couple weeks after Gen Con. Very excited, getting amped. Have a good night. See ya.
Bye.